Hello, everybody. Hi, how's it going? My name is Matt. Good afternoon, evening tokers, afternoon inhalers, and AM hookah smokers. Sorry, guys. That was my mistake. I was trying really hard to get it going in a better fashion to get us both on screen at the exact same time. It turns out that didn't work out too well. And now I'm trying to get all of the comments going as well. I'm trying to see which one is actually live. I'm having some minor technical difficulties. I do extremely apologize. This was my mistake. And it looks like, yes, we are live and we have Sid. How's it going, Sid? Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it as always. Brad, how you doing? Always happy to have you as well. I'm going to try and get the comments. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I got those on my side. Where is my... So that's live. We're live. Comments are good. I have my notes, which is what I need. And then I also need the prize wheel. I already talked to Adrian about this a little bit, but we have a prize wheel that we're going to be spinning in a little while. But yeah, hey, look, that's my wife is watching the show. How's it going, honey? Go take care of my children's. Just kidding. She really is taking care of my children's, and I have to give her a huge thank you at all times because she puts up with me to do this kind of stuff. But how are you doing, Adrian?
I am good. Hopefully I'm in the video because normally it shows a picture in the corner, but I'm not in the corner. So hopefully the screen, oh, it swapped over. Hi, I'm good. Hello, everybody. This is awkward.
Yeah, this is a big mess up on my end. I apologize. Let's get the show started how we're supposed to get it started.
Yeah, yay.
Yes, to all you midnight tokers, afternoon inhalers, and AM hookah smokers, this is the AM Hookah Podcast. Here we are, live and in color, episode number 7. We are just a lone crew this time around, me and Adrian. We're going to be doing the show together. We have a really fun topic, though, in my opinion, honestly. The topic is going to be all about troubleshooting your bowl and how to pack it and how to pack tobaccos, different stuff like that. What's up, Tristan? Hello, Bracken. How's it going? Jessica, as always, thank you so much for showing up as well. Hey, look, Pipe Dream is here. And Akeem, the #1 super fan, is here as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Sorry you had to jump through so many hoops to be able to find us, but we do madly appreciate you guys jumping with us. So, Adrian, I got a question for you. How do you want to do the giveaway? Hey, Kyle Smith, and you can chime in on this as well. Do we want to do the giveaway at the beginning of the show, or should we do the giveaway at the or towards the end of the show? What's your thoughts?
Let me think here. I don't know. Shows last about an hour. People are probably a little bit amped up, but I think if we don't show them, they'll stay for longer.
Right? That's what I'm kind of hoping for. If we tease you enough, then you'll know that it's going to come and happen eventually. Hey, what's up, Travis? Thank you so much for joining. And Tristan as well. Thank you for showing up. Tristan, I'm working on a deck so I can beat the Hearthstone. In case anyone doesn't know, Hearthstone is this awesome free-to-play game that you can get on your phone or your PC, and it's really fun. And me and Tristan played it the other night, and he totally kicked my butt. So I'm hoping I can redeem myself and win a match against him. But
because he's playing Warlock.
Yes, he was actually. Did you play against him?
I didn't, but I know that's really good in the meta right now.
He had some very good cards. I played some old decks that I have not upgraded for a very long time. Kyle says that I'm actually at the studio right now working on batch number 2, and he hopes that his Bluetooth headphones hold out. I hope so too, because we're going to be talking about you a ton in this episode. What's up, Saman? We are doing okay. You're a new subscriber to the show. You joined as of the last episode. I know that you're here to try and win yourself a bowl. In fact, Adrian, what are you smoking, my man?
Well, I'll cut to the chase. I am using the Relix bowl that we're giving away. I've been smoking on this almost exclusively for the last week because tonight, as soon as this podcast is over, I'm going from this camera to the one that's off screen and recording the actual review and then sending this out tomorrow. So hopefully by the time the bowl gets to you, there will be a cute review for you to look over. Not that it'll matter because whoever wins it, you'll have it in your hands anyway.
Yes, you'll know all the wonderful things about it coming up real shortly. But
I got it. I'm smoking Azure, and it's the lemon muffin. Zach, if you're still in the chat, I saw your review. That's why I picked up 100 grams of it to do my own review, and because it sounded good, and it's really good. So there.
We don't need to wait for the review. Just go get yourself 100 grams or 250 grams of the lemon muffin from Azure. We are big fans. Is it the dark leaf or is it the blonde leaf?
I got the dark leaf for the Carolina peach, which is another one, which is good, by the way. We'll talk about that later. But this is
Awesome.
blonde.
Cool. And it looks like Brad is actually smoking a mix of cane, dirty, lemon, and grapefruit mint in his unglazed stone bowl. That sounds like a very, very good mix. If you guys are smoking, please let us know what you guys are, in fact, smoking right now. I am smoking a mix of Alpha Kama, guava, and Alpha Kama lemon mint, and then a very, very tiny amount of the Alfaker fresh mint in there as well. So it's nice and minty. And this guava is absolutely blowing my mind right now. It is so freaking natural and tasty. I'm loving this guava so much.
Whose guava is that? Whose guava is that?
This is Alpha Kama guava.
Really?
Yeah, I got some samples from Alpha Kama. I'm going to be doing a whole video on it about my thoughts of. I've done a couple of videos like that on my channel where I did my thoughts on Trifecta, my thoughts on Awaha, and now I'm also going to be doing my thoughts on Alpha Kama as a brand, and also my thoughts on Azure is another video that I had done where I go over my overall thoughts about it. Bracken says you guys should broadcast to Switch or Twitch.
Twitch.
Twitch or something. I agree. We're looking into that as well. Travis is smoking a mix of Karma Orange, Zomo Fresh Providence in his Karma 3.0, which is the other wooden hookah, correct? I believe so. And then we have Akeem. Akeem is smoking Watermelon AF out of his 80 feet 80 in his Ottoman. Very, very cool. The N3, which is the little tabletop. Very cool stuff. I'm using my Carbon 1, and then I'm using my Mia hose, but I'm actually using my other silicone hose that came with the other one because I felt like mixing it up and being funky. So he says, Travis says it's correct. They're from the Ukraine. I did not know that. Did you know that the Karma hookahs are from the Ukraine?
I actually had no clue. At first, I was a little worried that because it's Karma and we have the Karma hookah tobacco here in the U.S. that I haven't had the experience with. But I was wondering if they were the same company, and they are not.
They are not. Yeah, they are. They are separate companies. They just both so happen to have the same name. I wonder if there's any karma in doing that. I have no idea how that works. But okay, so let's go ahead and cut to the chase. You guys are here because you want to see the giveaway. We have a prize wheel that we are going to be spinning, and it's going to be a 25-second wheel with everybody's name. We have about 45 people that are entered into the contest. First and foremost, I want to tell you guys thank you so much for making the last episode our most viewed episode, our most commented on episode, and overall blowing up our channel. We are almost at 100 subs right now, which is super exciting. I hope that by the end of this month, I think we can hit 100 subs. I think that's super exciting. We have 95 as of right now. We very well could be, hitting that very shortly, even by the end of this episode, maybe. I don't know. Make sure you guys are sharing and letting people know about the show because there are plenty of people that still don't know about us. We are on iTunes and Google Play and also Podomatic and also Anchor as well, which is an app for your phone, a really easy way to listen to podcasts and stuff. Looks like J-Rock is smoking AF Special Edition Melon Mayhem with fresh mint in his 80 feet 80 bowl with foil and 3 titanium flats. Very nice. Very, very nice. And Paul, who is also a new subscriber to the channel, he's smoking Ugly Grapefruit, Orange Keef, and Pomegranate in his Unica bowl. Oh, the new Hookah John bowl. How are you liking that bowl, Paul? Are you enjoying it quite a bit? And he's using his MIG 3.0. I want that MIG very badly. Very cool hookah. Okay. So we've gone over our setups, and we've talked a little bit about the giveaway. We've interacted with the people in the chat line. So what do you think, Adrian? Is it time to go ahead and do the giveaway, or are we going to wait till the end of the show? What's your thoughts?
Let's. I say that we do it right now, just because waiting till the end, it's cute, makes people want to stay and watch. But if you want to stay and watch, do it. And if you want to leave after the giveaway, do that too. Do you? So I think we should do the giveaway. Okay,
we are going to hop over to the screen. Everybody should be seeing the click to spin right there. Everyone, you see that, Adrian?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so as you can see, we have over 45 people on this wheel. We're going to spin it one time. It is a 25-second spin, so it's going to take a good little while. That way everyone can have their anticipation ready. I want to see some love in the chat. Are you guys ready for this? Yes, we know that you're going to be sticking around, Sid. We appreciate you, as always. Everybody in the chat, if you stick around, you are one of those super fans of, oh, Akeem's already, click it. Yes, I agree. We need to get this clicked. Are you ready, Adrian?
Yeah, let's spin this fucking wheel.
All right, here we go.
I'm so pissed I have to give this thing to someone. Damn it.
Here we go. It is time to go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead. I'm going to spin it right now. Kyle Smith says, good luck, everybody. J-Rock says, hit it and spin it, I think is what he means. Here we go. "25 seconds is a long time." Oh, it's slowing down. It's slowing down. Oh. 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 No, it's Akeem.
Akeem? Seriously?
Yes, it is. It's Akeem. I thought for a second it was Brad. My anticipation was going through the roof. Akeem, you are the winner, my friend. Oh my goodness. How exciting is that? Oh man. I thought it was going to stop so many times. I had nothing but anticipation in my heart right there. So there we go. Akeem, you are the winner, my friend. Adrian is going to be sending that out to you tomorrow. Kyle Smith, thank you so much for participating in doing this giveaway with us. We appreciate it so very much. Absolutely amazing. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this now. Okay, there we go. I'm back. I'm back in frame now. Oh my goodness. Woo. Yes, J-Rock, I thought it was gonna stop on you as well. Strictly Shisha says, congratulations. I'm flabbergasted right now. I don't even know what to say. Adrian, what do you have to tell Akeem?
I like Akeem a little bit less now because now he's gonna have this bowl. But Akeem, congratulations! I think you're gonna like this thing. I'm just mad. That's all. I'm just pissed off. I want to keep it.
Oh my goodness, this is absolutely fantastic. So, Akeem, congratulations! You're the winner of the Relix Bowl from Kyle Smith. He's working on his second batch right now. Everybody, head on over to Facebook, find Kyle Smith, and let him know that you're interested in getting one when he does take orders for his different batches and stuff. Because these bowls are pretty amazing looking, and as Adrian has said, they function absolutely wonderfully as well. So. Yes, we're going to go ahead and move on with the show. But once again, congratulations, Akeem. We're so happy that you are the winner. And yeah, we had over 45 entries into this. We had over, I think it was somewhere around 60 comments total on the video. And we had over 250 views on the video as well. Plus, we had a bunch of subscribers. We're almost at 100. So, I mean, absolutely amazing job from you guys. And it really, I don't know about you, Adrian. For me personally, after seeing all the love that we got from the last episode, it makes me want to just do twice as much work to really push and get more fun stuff like that to be able to do in the future.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. There's another giveaway in the works. I don't want to say too much about it, but the product it's already been produced, especially for the podcast.
Oh, so awesome.
We'll probably get into that later.
Well, awesome. We're going to go ahead and jump into the show now. Well, we already went over what we were smoking and what we're smoking with. What are you smoking with? What's your whole setup look like?
Whole setup. This is just my Thunder Dark V2. I had it modded with the stylus hose, but I put the V2 hose back on the handle. The micro version of the Alchemist Initiate down at its smallest setting. Stock tray and base with the Relics Bowl up on top. 3 Charcoal Flare flats, and I've got that lemon muffin packed. It's somewhere near a semi-dense, but somewhere between a semi-dense and a fluff, and it's smoking really well. I'm surprised because normally bowls of this size don't support that type of a pack very well, but this is just, I mean, the clouds are outstanding. So
fantastic, and the flavors come through real well. It looks like because you were talking about it earlier and stuff. Yeah, so we're going to be talking more about that shortly about packing. I like how that was a little tease there. Very good job. But let's go ahead and talk about what we've been smoking a little bit, because we haven't done that for a little while. We've been having guests and different things going on, obviously. So what's some stuff that you have actually been smoking as of recent that you'd like to either bring up or talk about?
Well, obviously some Ezer. After I did the first impression series, I wanted to get a few full-length proper reviews out. So I've been smoking a little bit of that. This brand that I have no experience with that I just got sent, Alamir. I think you got some too, Matt.
Yeah.
I've been smoking a little bit of that. I'm still trying to figure out the tobacco, which is kind of what we're going to be talking about today, the process of doing that. And then mostly I just got the new batch of Ugly in because the last batch of Ugly that Jim released was a little bit too heat resistant. Like you got it to the point where it wasn't smoking and then it would immediately start burning, which is really bad. So I got all this new Ugly, and I gotta say, Jim has done an awesome job at fixing the brand's cut and its heat resistance. He's made it a little bit less heat resistant because I think too much resistance is a bad thing, and it's been awesome. I asked about the guava flavor you were smoking because I got some Ugly guava. Oh man, it's awesome.
This one is very good. This is the Alpha Kama guava, and it is super natural tasting. I'm blown away by just how tasty it is. Actually, I'm probably going to do another bowl of this tonight, actually, because that's how much I'm enjoying it right now. I'm really, really, really impressed with it. Let's see, some new stuff that I've been smoking is Almir as well. Almir is a older brand that's been around at least since 2009, 2010. Back in the day, I had Almir caramel apple, which I don't remember much about the flavor. I just remember that it was a really weird flavor to see, a caramel apple flavor. I remember not much about it, actually. And then also, they also used to have Almir Exotic, which was another subsidiary of their brand that they had some other flavors. And I had like papaya mango, I think is what it was called. And I enjoyed that one quite a bit, but I don't have a huge amount. I also had Almir Cherry Cola at one time. So I had a little bit of experience with it, not a huge amount, but to my understanding, Almir is coming out with all new flavors. And that's what me and you both have, is their new stuff that they've recently put onto the market and stuff. And I have Southern Blue and a tropical flavor. And one of them I'm really pretty enjoying. The other one, not quite so much. We'll get into that as well. And then I just got a bunch of Alpha Kama. I smoked the strawberry mixed with some Messiah iced mint, which is a new flavor to me as well. And then, as I said, I'm smoking some Alpha Kama right now as well. So that's what I'm going to be smoking quite a bit of, is Alpha Kama and Almir, and then a little bit of AF and the Messiah as well in different mixes and such. So that's what I've been smoking, and that's what I will be smoking. And then I also wanted to talk a little bit about some reviews, because it's been a little while since we've been able to talk about some of the stuff that we have going on. Strictly Shisha says, Almir Blueberry Jubilee was my shit a few years ago. That's pretty good. I think that in a positive way. Just kidding. I know that you mean that in a positive way. Jessica says, yeah, we got 5 new flavors from Almir at work. Looked interesting. Yes, their new container is also very interesting. It's all black. Looks very nice as well.
Very reminiscent of the trifecta containers. Plastic, yes, with the screw on top. I love that.
I do too. It's a very nice container. It holds all your tobacco in it. The contents of the tobacco is not too wet, so you're actually getting quite a bit of the leaf and stuff, which is nice too. You know, the one thing that stinks sometimes is when you get 250 grams of tobacco and you get like 15 grams of molasses and stuff like that. This one seems like not a dry tobacco by any stretch, but it's not juicy or soppy or anything like that. But yeah, so what are some, I recently reviewed the Phoenix HMD, and I wanted to go a little bit further in depth with that, because we haven't really got to talk about it anymore on the show for a little while. I don't know, are you getting used? You did the review for the Lotus Plus.
Yeah, that's my newest review.
Yes. Are you getting ready to do the review for the Phoenix anytime soon?
No, I'm going to wait a month for the Phoenix. You just uploaded yours, and we share a lot of the same opinions on the Phoenix. So I'm going to let more traffic go to that for now. I've got some other things that are coming down the line for me. I actually didn't release my 3rd beta episode of the pipeline over the weekend due to some issues, and I don't think Friday is a good day to do it the more I think about it. So I'm probably going to release that tonight. But
I was a little sad about that, because I was hoping I was going to make it onto the pipeline. I was hoping.
Actually, you've made it on twice.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah,
I was wanting to make it on for the Phoenix one, I guess.
You did. No, that's the spoiler alert. I've got the notes right here. That's actually one of the 3 that I'm actually going to vocally shout out.
Okay. So
spoiler alert.
Let me go into a little bit of my review for the Phoenix, and then I want to hear your thoughts as well about the Lotus Plus on here. So I'll talk about the Phoenix for just a minute. So if you watch the review, which I highly recommend you do, because to be completely like unbiased in my own opinions and stuff, I think I did a really, really good job of breaking down the Phoenix and giving a super honest and opinionated, review of the entire Phoenix. I think it's a really cool device, and I really do like it, and I like a lot of things about it. But I do not, by any stretch, think it's a necessity of any kind. One of the very first things that I say inside the review actually is that the Apple on Top Provost is a necessity, in my opinion. I think that everybody should own the Provost. I think that it's super useful and it's super needed. I don't feel that exact same way about the Phoenix, and I break down the reasons why. I think that there's problems with the heating of it. I think there's problems with the amount of coals needed for it, all those kinds of things. But it does offer a very enjoyable smoking experience. In the review, I say that my favorite way to use the Phoenix HMD is with my Mason bowl and when smoking Tangiers, and using 3 or 4 coals on it throughout the entire session of it. So to me, that's the way that I've enjoyed using it the most, because it does take a little while to heat up, right? So with Tangiers, you can benefit yourself by taking a little bit extra time to step up the heat as it goes along, and then as it comes down as well. Like Tangiers is a very useful tobacco in that regard. So that's the way that I really enjoy to use it as well. So I like the Phoenix. I think you should look at getting it after you get the stuff that you already enjoy using. You know, after you get a bowl that you enjoy, after you get a hose, after you get a hookah, all those things that you like to use and you use, regularly, then I think that you start to branch out naturally and you start grabbing things that are not necessarily a necessity, but are a want. And to me, the Phoenix is not a necessity. It's a want type purchase. And I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting it. I just think you should have stuff put in place for yourself beforehand. That way you're able to enjoy the product as it is, instead of hoping to get more out of the product than what there is not available to you. Does that kind of make sense, Adrian?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the big reasons I'm not going to be cutting a review on it. I agree with almost every point you made in that it's pretty long video, honestly. And,
longest
I think
I've ever done.
I think it was pretty necessary. I really like that, and I think if anyone's interested in picking up the HMD, go check out that review. That's the first place I would go. There's not a lot of content based around it right now.
Yeah, I think I hit it on a good part of when people are going to be looking for it. I just want to say that I'm sorry, Zach. Strictly Shisha is talking about how he damaged his new laptop with water. And I feel so bad for you. I know that exact feeling when you destroy something that you love and that you even is new as well. So that absolutely sucks. I'm so sorry to hear that, Zach. Hopefully you're able to recover any data and it's not lost forever. I hope you're able to get that data back. Yeah. What are some reviews in the chat that you guys are either watching or that you have watched recently or you think should be watched? Is there something recently that you've seen a review for that you would like to shout out in the comments? And we'll also shout it out here as well. What about you, Adrian? Let's hear about the Lotus a little bit, unless there's another review that you want to talk about.
As far as new reviews, I do have some new reviews coming out. I've actually got a couple series that are going to be coming out pretty soon. What was the next one I was going to do? I've got so many that are ready to check out. The next Fokker series is actually going to drop this week. It's not going to be on a Monday. It's going to be on a Fokker Cinnamon, for anyone who wants to know about that. I also have my review on an ugly flavor coming out. And then there's a really important one that I cannot remember for some reason, which is really bad. Oh, yeah, this hookah. That's why I can remember it, because it's in my setup. But yeah, as far as the Lotus review, really the way that I outline that review is the same way you're outlining the Phoenix to a degree. You don't need it if you already have a Lotus. So if you already have a Cloud Lotus, the matte version, I'm not a fan of the shiny version, then you don't really need to pick up a Lotus Plus. However, if you're a first-time HMD buyer, that's absolutely the first HMD I would point you to. The first Lotus, the first matte Lotus, works amazing. And there's no downgrades for the new Lotus. In fact, there's some features like the raised portions on the inside that make it a little bit better. So I think it's a slightly better HMD, just not better enough to warrant you picking up another Lotus unless you're like me and you just collect stuff that you're not going to use.
Definitely hookah, part of the habit or the hobby of hookah is building a collection. You build a collection of hookahs, build a collection of hoses, of bowls, obviously. I would say bowls and bowl devices are something that's very easy to build a collection of, because there's so many of them. And a lot of times when you see a new device or a new bowl, you want to add that to your collection because, most of the time they look sexy and you want to add something of a flair to your collection. And one way to do that is with a really good looking bowl or with a really good looking HMD and stuff like that. J-Rock says, how about somebody do a review on the new hexagon coals if that's worth trying. I am trying to get a hold of some hexagon coals, actually. I don't know when that's going to happen or if it's going to happen, but they do look interesting. I don't know if I would get much use out of them because I use the Provo so much. I would almost prefer Adrian get some hexagon coals and give us a review of that, because you use foil and cubes more often, or foil and coals more often than I do, it looks like. And it looks like to me that the hexagon coals are used or meant to be used with foil purely. At least that's the kind of impression that I get from them. What about you?
I have no experience. I have no clue how they're going to work. I want to get my hands on some to review. I'm a little bit skeptical on their functionality, but I'm basically just riffing at this point. I have no clue what to expect until I get my hands on them.
Wondering about the functionality, if they're actually going to be beneficial in some way that you'd want to get them over a flat or over a cube.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, coals are weird. You need some time to figure out whether they're going to work for you or not. I've actually moved away from Superior, for instance, for a few reasons. I'm not saying don't pick up Superior coals. I'm just saying I'm not going to ever buy them again, for personal reasons. So coals take a while, and there's always batch inconsistencies, so it's really hard to nail a coal review.
Zach actually says that he would recommend the Golden Desert hex cubes, and he says that he really liked the hex cube for foil, which is kind of what my assumptions was. Same thing with the Superior with me. I'm really running into the point where I just don't like cube coals. That's just really, I think it's falling straight to preference. I'm not going to say that I think that they're not good, but I will straight say that, like, I do not enjoy using a cube coal in my setup. I much prefer using 3 flat coals in my Provost than I do using 2 cube coals in my Provost. Like, I just really, really prefer using flats just 110% way more personally. So the hexagon, while I do think they look interesting and I do wonder about the functionality like you're saying about them, I just don't think I would benefit from them in any way. So I don't even, like, here's the thing, like, even if they turn out to work better with foil, I don't use foil alone. So, like, I don't see myself really using them. So I don't know. Akeem says that he wants to try the hex coals, and then Travis says actually the Superior hexes are bae. So he's enjoying the Superior hex coals. I know that he's had long, extensive use of both the hex coals as well as the Superior cube coals as well, and I know that he's a big fan of them. Brad says that the cubettes are best. I don't have any experience with cubettes. Have you tried any cubettes?
Cubettes are awesome. I like the HJ, the titanium cubettes. Those are just awesome, especially when you have something like a mid-size bowl, like a Goodfella V4. The best way to heat it is 4 cubettes, in my opinion, especially with something that takes heat like Trifecta.
J-Rock says that cube coals are great depending on what kind of bowl you're using on them. And I agree. I definitely have rotated my sessions when I smoke to very particular bowls in my usage. So I kind of get very, very used to using the same stuff over and over again, which I don't think is a negative thing. When it comes to reviewing, I'm totally capable of breaking out of those types of routines and introducing something new into my rotation, so I'm able to give a good review on that product and such. But when it comes to me personally, the way I gravitate, I do enjoy my thing that I enjoy. Yeah. So that's perfect. So we're going to go ahead and move over, I think, into our topic. If you guys have any more questions or anything that you guys want to shout out in the comments in the chat area, please feel free to. We'll keep jumping back and forth as well. George says that he's a flat guy Provost himself, and George, I'm right there with you, man. That is exactly what I like to do. Right now, for instance, I'm using 3 cubes with my Provost on top of my OG Egyptian bowl, the one with the raised spire, like a shower head kind of, and that's what I super enjoy using. I've been smoking a ton with my Sahara Smoke Vortex bowl. It's just dirty right now is why I'm not using it. And same thing. I use 3 flats with my Provost, and it gives me a super, super enjoyable session. So that's what I like to do the most. So we're going to go ahead and move over to our topic. All right. I think this is going to be a really fun discussion because we're going to be talking about how to pack tobacco, but not just how to pack tobacco. We're also going to be talking about troubleshooting tobacco. Okay. So
mostly just the, I envision a conversation about the entire experience from getting a new tobacco that you don't have any experience with, and kind of solving the pack method in necessary amount of heat and what steps you'd normally take to do that. I feel like that's not talked about enough, and it's something that, like, as a reviewer, you got to figure out pretty quick.
Yes, especially it's nice to bounce ideas off of other people in the community, be it on Facebook or in chats and stuff like that. Me and Adrian, we spend plenty of time talking with one another, just like, hey, how do you do? What did you do to do this and stuff? Because two reasons for me personally, I think that it's good to know what other people are doing for the reason to try it, but then also to try to look away from it and see if there's anything else that can be done as well. For instance, Alamir, which is something that me and Adrian both recently got. He asked me, we were talking about packing it or whatever, and I said that, oh, I'm doing a purely straight fluff pack, and that's been working really good for me, just to kind of give him some ideas of what it is that I'm using. Not to say that he needs to only do that, but that's what I've been enjoying. So far with Alamir, I tried a straight fluff pack using only 16 grams inside of my Sahara Smoke Vortex, which usually holds about 20, 22. And then I also went straight into a normal pack, which was about 18 grams, where I pushed it down a little bit more. So I'm using a scale to help me better my ratios so that I can get a better idea of where my fluff pack is going to lie, where my normal pack is going to lie. And then when I eventually go into my semi-dense and dense pack with it as well, it gives me a good baseline to always know where I'm looking. Do you use a scale with any of your stuff?
Only when I'm reviewing. For personal use, it doesn't matter so much because tobacco is tobacco. I buy a lot of tobacco regardless, so I'm not really trying to be that picky about how much tobacco I'm using. But when I'm reviewing, especially like a bowl or something, I will use a scale to see how much capacity it has for any given pack. And I think Alamir is a really good starting point because the more I play with it, the more I think a fluff variant is going to be how you want to pack it. I've come to the fluff underpack is where I'm at right now as far as having it perform the best. But I think blondes are a really good place to start this conversation because I think that most people, when they approach tobacco, the first question they ask when they're going to pack it is it dark or is it blonde?
Yes.
And I feel like with blondes, the first place most people go is a fluff pack, probably to the rim, maybe just a hair under the rim. What about you?
Yeah, that's exactly where I started with Almir. When I first got it into my possession, I immediately started to pack it and I fluffed it all the way up to the rim, and that's exactly where I started. Smoked my session, enjoyed it, thought it was a pretty good session for the most part, and then on my next one immediately, then I went to a normal pack or a more heavy fluff pack. I don't know how you want to describe it. I put in 2 grams more tobacco than what I did prior to that, and I pushed it down just a little bit more, and I tried it off that. Did not think that I got as enjoyable of a session. So I went right back to my fluff pack to see if there was something that I had done differently that I wanted to move over to my next pack as well, or if my fluff pack was more where I was leaning towards. Travis says I go normal on most blondes, and then I go up or down depending on performance and longevity, which I think is exactly what we're kind of looking for as well. J-Rock says, when I was doing that, the brand I was using Nokla, which was the cheapest, and I can get local. Yes, and that's another thing. If you're looking to improve your own ability, it's good just to buy what you can get local. That way you don't have to spend extra money on shipping and stuff like that, or taking a risk on stuff that you may not know what it's going to be like and stuff. And then kind of messing around on your own time with your bowls and with your packs and stuff like that.
It's actually interesting. So sorry to cut you off, but Nokla is a really interesting place to go with this because Nokla, I feel like when trying to figure out the optimal way to pack Nokla, if you have a group of 5 people, you can come up with each person having a completely different way to pack it and it being correct. Because brands like Nokla are pretty resilient, and you can get different types of sessions out of different pack methods.
Yeah, kind of like some people love to do the overpack, such as yourself, with the double apple. You can completely overpack that, burn the top part of it, and then keep smoking on it, and it'll be fine. Where you can also use that double apple flavor and do a complete fluff pack and have a very enjoyable session as well. You can kind of decrease the nicotine that you're receiving and that flavor intensity as well based upon that pack that you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the way I prefer to pack Nokla, at a semi-dense overpack. But it's actually a fluff overpack, but it becomes a semi-dense when you foil it. But I know people who actually just fluff Nokla. It works fine.
Yeah. So my question to you is, where do you start? We kind of went over this a tiny bit, but do you start at some people would say that they start, like sometimes depending on blonde, or I guess that's the starting point, blonde or dark leaf, right? Okay, so now we have one or the other. We have blonde, we have over here, we have dark leaf over here. If you're packing a blonde, where do you start it at?
So for instance, when I'm packing a new blonde, Azure is probably the most recent actual blonde tobacco. I know that Alamir's blonde, but it's dyed red,
It's
and
red.
and it's a red tobacco. But no, that's blonde too. But Azure, I started with a fluff pack, and I packed it to just underneath the rim, and I haven't veered very far from there. But typically, when I have a blonde, that's where I'll start it. I know that Travis was saying he starts in a normal pack, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. I just gravitate towards a fluff for blondes.
I as well start with a fluff when it comes to blondes and then go up accordingly to it if I feel like there's a need to kind of push it down a little bit. And then where do you start when you get a black leaf?
Dark leaves are interesting because I've had dark leaves that take a normal pack all the way up to Tangiers, which takes probably the densest pack you have in the world of hookah tobacco. So when I get a new dark leaf, and Trifecta comes to mind as one of the dark leaves I smoke pretty regularly, I start with a normal pack for dark leaves, and I pack it to well beneath the rim to check for its heat resistance. I try to have as many good sessions as I can, so I'd rather start out with a session that's at least not scorching and then move it up instead of start with a normal pack up to the rim and find out it's something like Lavu that might scorch under those conditions.
Yes, so. That's a very, very good. I would agree. When it comes to dark leaf, I start at a semi-dense. Definitely is where I will always start at, just because for the most part, dark leaf will usually be a little bit more heat resistant for the most part, not always. Lavu is a really good example of that because Lavu takes a complete normal, almost a fluff pack. It's hard to fluff it because of the consistency of the tobacco, but it is very much just sprinkled in there. And then you go all the way to the end of the spectrum with Tangiers, where it's as dense as you possibly can make it and stuff. Same things with like Black Lava, for instance. Black Lava, when I first got it, was definitely a semi-dense starter point for me, and I realized, oh, this is a pretty good place to start. I'm going to add a little bit more, push it down a little bit, see where we go with it, and then kind of gravitate back towards that semi-dense for me as well. George says he's a fan of chopping up my shisha, whatever it's a fine cut, and it doesn't always work the best for him, is what he's saying.
Yeah, Al-Fakir is actually a brand that I do that to when I'm smoking out of an Egyptian bowl. There are times when I find that the stock chop for a tobacco isn't necessarily the best one.
Sid says that he is still here, folks, and I'm glad to see that. Thank you for sticking around, Sid. Appreciate that. And then Travis says semi-dense and up and down for myself, referring to the dark leaf, which I think is something that we've all kind of gravitated and learned throughout our entirety of smoking with blonde and dark, where we kind of want to start at and then move up and down accordingly to it. So my next question for you, Adrian, when it comes to this is, what do you think is a good way to explain your packing to other people? You find someone on the forums and they're like, hey, Adrian, I'm having some problems with Azure. What are your opinions? What do you think I should try doing? What do you think is the best way to explain your packing?
So for instance, Azure Blonde, which I think you can get all the way up to even a semi-dense pack and have it perform well. But to me, the optimal performance is, some people will call this a semi-fluff. I just call it a level between fluffing it and normal packing it, if that makes any sense. I don't really have all these cute names for my packs.
Yeah.
But if I had to talk someone through that pack and they didn't know what that pack was just by me saying, do this, say they're a newer smoker. For instance, if I was describing a fluff pack, what I would say is use your hands, because something like an oyster fork is going to cause some artificial density that you don't want any part of. And you're going to want to mix your tobacco up in the container. And I would recommend pulling some of the tobacco out, putting it on a paper towel or something, and really fluffing it up, getting as much air between the leaves as you can. And then once you've got it nice and aerated, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, pick up as much of the tobacco as you can get in your hand and kind of use your thumb to just break the tobacco up and sprinkle it around the bowl so it's coming to just above the rim, but most of the bowl is full, but not all of it. You want a few little air pockets. And then as far as adjusting it to down beneath the rim, you don't want to press it because that's going to create density. So what I recommend is a toothpick or a foil poker or even an oyster fork if you have one and you know what you're doing with it. Just lightly rearrange the leaves so they're all conformed and even to the same level, but just beneath the rim level, so there's no actual foil contact. That would be my best way to word how I would pack something like Azure Blonde.
That's a good way to explain it, I think. J-Rock says, personally, every time he receives shisha, he always checks the chop, and if it's terrible, he'll chop it up himself to the point where it could be just like confetti. I think that the chop of the tobacco, especially when it comes to the pack of it, is super important. For instance, The bad batch of Alpha Comma that I got, where it was like super leafy and inconsistent in the cut, that's the type of stuff that you want to make sure that you chop up, because you don't want those big leaves inside of your bowl, because they're burning at a poor rate in comparison to the chopped up tobacco. You're going to cook that entire leaf while you're working on these tiny other little pieces of tobacco. So it's good to chop it up in cases like that for sure. Akeem says, I use my hand to pack bowls. It seems to give me the right amount of density. I've gravitated way more using an oyster fork. I think that when you're first starting out, or even if you're comfortable doing it, you should always use your hand, because you do have that feeling of density way, way better in comparison to using a object in your hand. So it's nice to have that feeling. I feel like I've gotten a good enough idea of what the density feels like with it that I'm comfortable doing that. But I think that you should always use what you're comfortable doing. And if you're comfortable using your hand, then use your hand, obviously. When it comes to packing things like density, for even Tangiers, right? If you're trying to explain to somebody, oh, you need to pack that as dense as you can, sometimes that can even be a hard thing to explain, because they're like, well, I'm getting as much as I can into it. Okay, that's good. But are you pushing it down into the bowl, or are you just like packing it as much as you can in there? There's a little bit of difference in fluctuating that as well. To me, an oyster fork with Tangiers is good, because you don't need to worry about your density to the hand as much as you need to worry about the density pushing down. So you pack it in there, you get it all around, and then what I like to do with an oyster fork is I take it into the spire, into the funnel part of it, and I push it to the left and I push it to the right and see if there's any more room, and then I put more into it like that. And then I can spread it around and get it to be densed in there as well. Those are a couple of little tricks that I've picked up throughout my time of smoking and stuff. But explaining a good pack can be just as difficult as getting a good pack for yourself. I think documenting as well is a pretty good way to teach yourself densities and packing and enjoyable session usage. One reason why I'm taking a lot of photographs right now of my packs of Alamir is because I want to do a good job of giving information to you guys, if you're looking to pick up any of the Alamir, what worked for me when it came to packing my bowls. And the best way to do that is to give picture evidence of it. Show the amount of tobacco I used and what it looked like inside of the bowl. So a good way to explain is with pictures as well, because picture books are awesome and I still use them. Not just because I read them to my kids, but for myself.
One thing I want to, slightly off topic, but Travis was talking about the Karma Hookah, right?
Yes.
Have you seen that thing?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. The ones that look kind of like they're like individually layered or something. I can't even.
Have you ever seen the Absolute Towers?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah. They look exactly like those towers. For anyone who was wondering what that hookah looked like.
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking. Look up Karma hookahs. They're definitely cool looking hookahs. I don't want to get into any politics about them, but they look cool. And that's all that I'm paying attention to at the moment. Let's go into something a little bit deeper now. You ready for this, Adrian? This is a little bit more of a deeper question. I want to hear everybody in the chat, everybody over there as well. Please let me know your thoughts and opinions of this as well. How important is the pack, Adrian?
I'm going to contradict Hookah John here right now, who says just throw it in there pretty regularly. But I think that for some tobaccos, the pack is a little bit less important. But for the most part, with a lot of the tobaccos we're playing with in the U.S., the pack will make or break your session typically.
I think so too. I think pack is very important. I do not think that it is the only thing that's important, but it is very important. For instance, don't dense pack Alfaker. You will get it to smoke. You will have flavor. You will not have as good of a session. Don't dense pack Lavu. You will be able to smoke it for a little while, but it will die out very, very quickly. Too much density can burn your tobacco, just like too much fluff can burn your tobacco as well, depending on the type of it. Tangiers, for instance, one of the reasons why we dense pack it is because it is not necessarily a heat temperamental tobacco, but if you don't put in a lot of it, then you will burn through it a little bit quicker. It's not so much that you're just like cooking it immediately or something like that, but it has a lot to do with like all the tobacco inside Tangiers meshes well together. So the majority of it, when you pack it in densely, you're getting a very full session throughout the entirety of the bowl, which is what the important part is with that. Let's see. George says, have you ever done a fluff pack of Tangiers? I heard it is possible. Yeah, and I just kind of commented on that for just, it is possible. You will get smoke. You will get a little bit of flavor. You will just not get that enjoyable session that you can get if you go through it. Let's see. Travis says dense pack AF and enjoyable and intense throat hit for days. Yes, because you're burning, burning
Video
it.
coming soon.
Let's see. Travis says fluff pack Tangiers and enjoy your head leaving your body. I don't even know if I had the craziest head rush. I just didn't get a good session that was enjoyable. So I didn't smoke it long enough to know if I was going to have like a huge buzz or something like that. But it was just not enjoyable when I've tried it in the past. When I first started smoking Tangiers, for instance, I did do a fluff pack because I wasn't aware of how to pack Tangiers, and it was just a garbage set. It tasted poorly. It did not give the same amount of clouds that you can get when you do dense pack it. It just wasn't a very good session overall. With that said, what does, Hookah John says, throw it in there, right? Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you? When you hear somebody say, throw it in there, does that only mean fluff pack it to you?
The way Hookah John packs, he packs with an oyster fork typically. I think he usually ends up with something that looks like a semi-dense pack by the time he's finished packing a bowl. So when he says throw it in there, I'm just thinking, yeah, he just semi-denses everything. And I actually know there's people out there. I think Megan Jai might be one of them. For anyone who's familiar with her, she's in a lot of the Facebook groups. She typically does a semi-dense pack for a lot of tobaccos. Semi-dense is right there towards the middle of the spectrum. So I think you can always get a tobacco to perform. But I think we're kind of talking about performing optimally here. So I avoid that.
Travis says, you bad boy, you don't read the instructions on the packaging. I don't know what he's referring to on that. I'll say that the packaging on the Starbuzz Serpent, for instance, tells you to do a semi-dense pack. It works better at a full dense pack is what I was kind of noticing, and I was not a fan of it regardless of what I did with the Serpent line personally. But I tried to read the instructions if instructions come with it. Do instructions come with a lot of your tobacco, Adrian?
I can't read, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So that's always a problem. Tangiers, he says, I'm still, we have this delay in chat and me talking, so I apologize. But I didn't know Tangiers has instructions. They might. I may need to relook at some of my old packaging or something. It's been a long time since I've seen some. Let's see. So, yeah, I think we fall in line when it comes to the importance of the pack. It is obviously an important part of the process of smoking a hookah, and you do need to know what you're doing. It's kind of what we've talked about before, where the more information and knowledge that you have about what it is you're doing with hookah, the better of a time that you're going to have with your session. And I think that with any good hobby that you get into, you're going to want to master it to a point that you enjoy it every time. And that's kind of where this falls in line with. It's not about, hey, just throw it in there and see if you can get it to smoke. How can I get this to be enjoyable for the length of time that I want to enjoy it with? I think is important as well. Let's see. Okay, this is another kind of deep question for this topic. How can you tell if it's a bad pack or if it's a bad product?
That is a little bit more difficult. So I guess I have to ask for context.
And go to preference.
In this situation, is it a tobacco that you already have experience with, or is it a new tobacco that you never touched?
Well, I mean, just overall, as you learn how to pack a tobacco, at what point do you learn, like, you know what? It's not going to matter too much what I do with this tobacco. I don't really like this tobacco. And that could be a purely preference-based question as well.
So I think what happens is after you've tried packing it in all of the ways that that specific tobacco appears that it would work in, if you can't get it to perform well using any of those methods, then before I would just outright say this tobacco doesn't work, I would move on to the next thing in line when it comes to getting your tobacco to perform, which is the amount of heat you actually put on your bowl. I think that's incredibly important, and I think that's something a lot of people overlook a lot more than they should.
Yeah, I think that's heat can go right into that as well. It's a little bit saved for another conversation because the pack is what we're talking about, but heat onto the pack is obviously another important step to the entire process as well. And Travis did say that they did put that on their Tangiers because Eric put it on there because I fluffed it. It was because I did that. I'm just kidding. I know it's because multiple people tried to do that, obviously. J-Rock says, to me, you can tell if it's a bad product or just in general, or the first thing you do is open it up and see the tobacco is soaked in molasses and it's red dyed and neat tobacco leaves and it's just choppy. So he's saying that, but based upon the look of the product, you can kind of tell if it's going to be a poor product or not.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you can even put that. I hate to call out Starbucks Serpent too much because I only had experience with a couple of their flavors, and I could be off on some of the things that I'm saying. But I was not a fan of the consistency, the chop, or the moisture level of the Serpent line personally. And that kind of gave me some issues when I was trying to figure out a good pack for it. After trying multiple different things for it, I came to the conclusion for myself, I don't like this. There's trying to think of another good one that may come up off the top of my head. Oh, well, I mean, I'm in the middle of doing Alamir Tropical. I like the Alamir Southern Blue, which is one of the two, and I've been enjoying that one quite a bit. The Alamir Tropical, which is a pineapple coconut flavor, I'm not really enjoying the different packs that I'm trying with it. And I'm not going to say that the product is garbage or anything, but I'm going to say that I may not just be enjoying this tobacco, right? Like the product is not good to me. The pack is fine. The pack is what it needs to be. The product itself is something that I'm not fully enjoying. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that once you've put your tobacco through the ringer and you've tried out all your packing methods, and I know we don't want to touch on this, but you try different types of heat, different varieties of coal, or just a different amount of coal in the bowl. Once you tried everything you're willing to try and you can't get it to perform well, it's time to make the decision. Is it something that you don't like, or is it a garbage product? And I think you can come to that conclusion pretty quickly. Is it burning? Is it harsh? Is the flavor garbage? Are the clouds bad? That's a garbage product.
Yes.
Do you not prefer the head buzz, or do you not prefer the flavor profile? That's probably preference. Sometimes it lies somewhere in between. But typically, unless you're a reviewer or something, once you find out that tobacco is not your preference, whether it's a garbage product or you just don't like it, it's pretty safe to say you can put that brand down, move away from it, and be done with it.
Okay, I think that hits the nail on the head personally. I don't have any more direct things that I had written down for this topic. I do have another question for you though. Do you have any product tobacco that you pack differently than the norm of packing that tobacco? Be it Al Fakr maybe, because I know you have a lot of experience with that. Maybe even Messiah. How do you like to pack Messiah?
Messiah typically calls for a slightly denser than a fluff pack, just to the rim. It can be pretty heat resistant. I don't do this to all Messiah, but there's citrus flavors. I will pack at a semi-dense pack, and I'll do a slight overpack because I really want to pull as much flavor out as I can. And I want it to burn. I want it to just start to burn. Because stuff like lemon mints, I feel like they perform the best when they're right there at just starting to burn. And I think that comes down to preference, because I'm not going to go and recommend that to someone else who is not looking for that type of a session. But in short, yeah, there's all kinds of tobaccos that I will adjust the pack of just because I know how I like to smoke. What about you?
I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head. Even when it comes to Trifecta Blonde, I noticed myself packing it a little bit more of a semi-dense than a normal pack personally. So I'll kind of squeeze it in there a little bit more with the stuff that I've tried from Trifecta. I don't know if that is a normal thing that people do, or if they more normally pack it at a pure fluff normal pack on that one actually. But I think gravitate more towards semi-dense on like Trifecta. J-Rock has a question for everyone. Has anyone tried a Nirvana Super Shisha? Have you tried any of the Nirvana Shisha?
No, I want to get my hands on it, but I haven't tried a single thing by them.
I have a feeling you would love it because it's supposed to be super head buzzy and stuff. And I know you like the buzz quite a bit, so I think you would probably really enjoy it if it is as extreme as I've heard. I mean, I've heard people even say that it's more buzzy than Tangiers and stuff. So,
yeah, that could be the case. I've had Ugly be more buzzy than Tangiers, so it's definitely doable.
Jessica then replied and says, "Not yet, J-Rock. I'm interested in the cinnamon milk though. Just because I want to see if it really pins down the milk flavor. Yeah, I think a really good milk flavor would be super good. Social Smoke has that one called Hong Kong tea, which is like a milk tea. I've never tried it, but I've always been really interested in it for that exact same reason. I think the idea that it could have a taste similar to a milk of some kind, or maybe even, have you ever heard of the bubble tea? Have you ever heard of those before?
Oh, yeah, man. I live next to Ann Arbor. I get that every weekend.
I would love a flavor to taste like that. That'd be really, really good in my opinion.
You ever had taro? You ever heard of the taro flavoring?
No, I don't think so.
It's the main flavoring in Trix, this breakfast cereal.
Hmm.
It's a root, I think, but they make a taro bubble tea. Oh man, with milk in it. Oh, dude, it's so good.
Like you're just drinking the Trix milk basically the entire time.
Basically, but there's a little bubbles in it too that pop, and there's like berry flavored normally. Oh, they're so good.
That sounds very, very tasty. I had a green tea mango flavor one time, and it was so good. And now I just want to go get some bubble tea right now. I don't have anywhere that sells it though, so I'm screwed. I have no ability to I want right now. This stinks. Anyways, all right. Well, I think that kind of wraps it up for Pack. Unless you have any comments or anybody in the actual chat, do you guys have anything that you'd like to add onto this as well? Do you guys have anything particular that you pack differently than somebody else might pack a certain brand of tobacco of any kind? I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff. Al Waha is a normal pack for me. Trifecta Dark is a semi-dense pack for me as well. Lavu is a normal pack for me. Tangier's just regular old dense pack. Alamir, I'm going with the fluff pack as of right now. The Alpha Kama, I'm using a fluff pack as well. So you have experience. Here's a question for you about Al Fakr. Al Fakr has their golden line, which I'm going to very first be trying their golden line with the fresh mint. Is there a different pack with different Al Fakr flavors, such as Al Fakr regular to Al Fakr special edition and Al Fakr golden line?
Nope, not so much. The Al Fakr and Al Fakr special edition, it's important to remember that their special edition is not a different tobacco at all. It's actually premixes of their already existing regular line flavors. So there's nothing different there. And then their gold line, they just don't dye it, and they use a slightly better cut of tobacco. You could pack it a little bit denser than you would pack typical Al Fakr if you wanted to. It would perform well. But other than that, Al Fakr is the same. That said, I'm planning to do a Al Fakr extra dense pack video soon. I don't think it's going to go well.
I worry for you as of right now. J-Rock says, last question. Thought for everyone. Have you ever thought of a flavor that has not been made into a shisha? And what would that be? For himself, it would be a hot chocolate flavored tobacco. Have you ever heard of a brand? This is a long time ago, but it was called JM Tobacco. Did you ever hear of that brand?
I have recently heard of it, going through some really old reviewer stuff.
Yes, look for one called Cookies and Cream. JM used to have a one called Cookies and Cream, and I want a Cookies and Cream tobacco to come back already. I'm waiting. Why has nobody done Cookies and Cream? I know Trifecta has cookie dough, which I think they only do in like limited batches or something because you can't like buy it straight or something. But I want Cookies and Cream in my life, man. I so badly want that flavor. What would be a flavor for you you'd like to see made into a tobacco?
That's hard. We were just talking about it, but I haven't seen it. Taro. I want Trix flavored hookah. That sounds amazing.
Have you ever had it's like that one breakfast cereal from Tangiers?
Is that supposed to be Trix?
I believe it's supposed to be Trix. I could be completely wrong, but I think it is supposed to be Trix.
Then they're likely using taro as the flavoring agent.
That's exciting. I want to look into that now. Jessica says, I want strawberry shortcake, but even if a good strawberry would be good at this point. I agree. Why can't we get a good strawberry on the market? Oh my gosh, J-Rock says that he does remember Cookies and Cream. Yes, J-Rock, that JM Tobacco, man, they were on ball for a little while. They had some really, really unique flavors. I would like to see another flavor. No. What I was going to say is I got an Al Fakr flavor that I don't even know if I'm going to smoke, to be honest, because I got it for free when I bought the stuff that I got for the Messiah and the Al Fakr Fresh Mint. But have you ever heard of Al Fakr chocolate?
Yep, dodge it.
Dodge it? Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be a good. I don't.
It's not.
Yeah. Oh, Paul says that it's Fruity Pebbles, I think, actually.
See, that's different, Matt. Fruity Pebbles are different from Trix.
Sid says that he doesn't like cookies and cream as a flavor. Sid, what is going on, Sid? Have you never had the Hershey bar called Cookies and Cream? It's amazing. How can you not want that?
Well, that's because vape flavors are strictly nastier than hookah flavors, Sid. I see your comment.
Yeah, do not. Yeah, vaping no bueno when it comes to vaping is only good for one flavor, and that's fruit, basically. And it's like a generic sweet fruit flavor, like a gummy kind of. That's what I've noticed, at least.
I've got a buddy that vapes, and like it's great, and I've smoked off of it before. But like every time, I'm just like, that was cute. I'm gonna pack a bowl now.
Yeah, I don't care for it at all. Toasted marshmallow. Why don't we have a good toasted marshmallow? That's another one that I think that we should be seeing more of. I had a toasted, or not toasted, but I had a s'mores from Hookah Fina. I had it in their Hookah Fina Black, and it was not super enjoyable. It tasted way more of the graham cracker than it did of the toasted marshmallow. But toasted marshmallow actually sounds like it'd be really good. That one breakfast cereal is Trix, I think, according to Hookah Shisha. So it's either Trix, Fruity Pebbles, or which one was the one? Which one did you say needed to be?
I don't know, but Akeem Trifecta makes an apple pie flavor.
Oh, they do, and I heard it's very, very good.
Anyway, what was your question? I'm so sorry.
What was the Torah flavor?
Trix.
Trix. Okay, so yeah, according to Jessica, the other breakfast cereal is Trix, at least according to Hookah Shisha. So we need to get you the other breakfast cereal and have you taste it and tell us if it is in fact Torah or not. We need to get that. We need to make that happen.
Done.
Vape haters, I make my own juice and it's bomb. Jessica, anything you do is probably pretty good. So I don't
hold up, back up. You vape? We need to reevaluate some things.
A lot of hookah smokers vape because you can't hookah 24/7.
Yes, you can.
Unless that's all you do. Have you you drive a truck, right, or a van for your job?
I got a hookah right in there, dude.
Do you? Have you ever done that?
I have driven with the hookah. Don't do it. It's a bad idea, but I've done it.
Everyone in the chat, please tell me, have you ever drove with a hookah? When I first started smoking hookah and I was like super into it and stuff, I totally drove with a hookah in my car before. And I agree, it's not a good idea. It's not worth doing, especially if you accidentally pack something that has more of a buzz than you expect and you're in the middle of driving a car. Don't do that. That's not a good idea at all.
I only smoke and drive when I drink and drive.
Okay, yeah. So you don't, right? That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, whatever you say.
Filthy Dorth, which is Sammy, I believe. He says that he's never done, never done, never gonna. I like that attitude. Never want and never do. Those are two. That's a good trait to have in life. Sid says that sounds dangerous. It totally is. And Akeem says not good. I agree. Chat, you're hitting the nail on the head in this one. It is not a good idea. Well, guys and gals and everybody in between, thank you guys so much for listening and watching the AM Hookah podcast. Like I said before, we are on iTunes. We are on Google Play Store. We're on Podomatic and Anchor on your phone as well. Please find us on those and sub to us because we're trying to get those subs all the way up. We are almost at 100 subscribers on YouTube, and I can't tell you how excited. Me and Adrian, we had to talk about this, and I told him, I said, hey, Adrian, I think we can get to 100 in like 3 months' time. And even Adrian was like, I don't know, man. I think that we can get a little sooner, but we're almost there, Adrian. What do you think?
Thanks, Kyle.
Yes, thanks. Exactly. All the love in the world to Kyle Smith for helping us hit this landmark almost. We're very close to getting it, which means that we'll get there without him.
Filthy Dorth isn't Sammy.
It's not?
No, it's not. It's another prominent Facebooker guy.
Oh, I super apologize, Sammy, or not Sammy, Filthy Dorf, for calling you that. Mucho apologies to you, good sir. Okay. I think that's it. Adrian, do you have anything else that you want to go out on?
No, this Riesling's really starting to do its work. I need to make some food.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show. Thank you guys so much. And Akeem, congratulations. You are the winner. Thank you, Kyle Smith, for sticking around and also for giving away that beautiful bowl that Adrian is smoking on right now. Yes, you have to send it out. Send it out. Akeem, we need to figure out a way to contact you so we can get your shipping information. Akeem, if you have Facebook, I think that'd probably be the best way to do it. What do you think, Adrian?
Facebook, you can find me as Adrian Hunter. I tell you what, Akeem, I don't know if we'll figure out how to do messaging on this. If you don't get a hold of me, I'll get you in contact with my personal number. But by the end of the night or tomorrow, as long as we have contact information and I can get your personal, shipping address and everything, we'll have that shipped out either by tomorrow or Wednesday morning, depending on when I get off work tomorrow.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Thank you guys so much for watching and participating and being a part of the show. We appreciate you guys so much for subbing, subscribing, and a bunch of love for being a part of the live chat because it makes this show, and without you, we'd be two idiots talking about hookah and not knowing anything what we're actually saying. So until next time, guys, see you later. Bye.
Bye.